Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Washington tonight. A lot to get to, jam-packed show. Breaking just moments ago, the port strike temporarily suspended until after the election. How convenient. More on that in moments. But first, the Stranding of America. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, do Joe and Kamala care more about the millions of illegals coming across our border than the people struggling in the storm-ravaged Southeast? Over the past 4 years, Democrats, led by Joe Biden and Kamala, racked up over $7.9 trillion in spending, sending our national debt to over $35.6 trillion. But somehow, after all that spending, it turns out we don't have the money we need to rescue and help our fellow Americans.
We haven't seen FEMA, we haven't seen Red Cross, we haven't seen Hearts with Hands, we've seen no agencies come through here. Most people drive through with their cameras out, filming us like we're animals in a zoo, and don't stop.
When this is allowed to happen, how do we even qualify as a superpower anymore? How can the people running things be this heartless and this incompetent? Ensuring that we have money and supplies set aside for emergencies is a basic duty of government officials. So we expect that when we allow our fellow citizens, we help them when they're under siege by a natural disaster like this, that our top officials will be fully engaged. But as hurricane victims were waiting for relief, Kamala was rallying supporters in Vegas. 6 days after the lights went out and the floodwaters rose in Georgia, she did finally do a drop-by.
Federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like.
Imagine losing your house, your transportation, basic necessities, and women looking for diapers. Earlier today, I was watching. Most stores, by the way, in the area are wiped out. And all you're getting right now is a $750 check she referenced from the federal government. The government you've been sending taxes to for your entire life. Yeah, and where are they going to buy that baby food, Kamala? Of course, the man who allowed the migrant invasion into the U.S. is trying to pass the buck by saying, well, we're out of bucks.
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
That's funny. They seem to have no hesitation about setting aside massive amounts of money for their foreign priorities.
If you want to see how sick and distorted Kamala Harris's priorities are, just consider FEMA. Kamala spent all her FEMA money, billions of dollars, on housing for illegal migrants.
Now, Mayorkas, in a written statement today, disputed these claims, saying that migrant money, well, it had already been allocated. Oh, big deal. I heard that. I was like, so? And anyway, that's the point, right? Democrats are prioritizing the needs of non-citizens. And now we learn many of them are violent, depraved criminals, prioritizing their needs ahead of the people that our leaders are supposed to be serving. Now, just over the past 2 years, FEMA has spent more than $1 billion to house illegals. It allocated nearly $364 million just in fiscal year 2023. And for fiscal year 2024, the figure is close to double that. And that helps illegals following their being released all over the United States. This is disgraceful. And every Democrat running for office should be hammered for failing to shut this down. For failing, of course, to secure the border. Could do it with a strike of a pen, right, Joe? And for voting for their monster spending bills. All they did was shortchange Americans, drive up inflation, saddle us with debt, in order to give gobs of money to liberal special interests. So why did Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia think this was a good idea? How about Sherrod Brown in Ohio, Tammy Baldwin, Wisconsin? Do they do any oversight up there on Capitol Hill? If not, why not? They say that in a crisis, you see what someone is made of. Well, we need a cabinet stacked with brilliant, experienced people. But Kamala, of course, is going to pick the same type of woke firsts that Biden picked. The first this, the first that, forget the first resume. The king of people who think getting a briefing is the same as leading.
I was at the FEMA Command Center a couple of days ago, received a briefing alongside Secretary Mayorkas. The level of coordination and dedication going on out there is incredible. It's inspiring.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that man was a Rhodes Scholar. Now, incompetence is the common denominator here. How else do you explain the fact that FEMA is still approving new COVID expenditures? I mean, we're still tracking the COVID fraud, and they're still sending out money for COVID relief. Again, everyone is asleep at the switch. Zero oversight. And by the way, if we had a curious, impartial media, they would press Kamala Harris and Mayorkas on all of these questions. Look, we know what the press did to Bush and Katrina. But of course, look, the press right now is too busy trying to help Harris. Look what happened at that vice presidential debate with the moderators. But circling the wagons for her is really, really stupid. Because given what's gone down, millions of voters may just start wondering whether this is just incompetent leadership with this Hurricane Helene, or is it purposefully withholding aid from counties that supported Trump? In the absence of leadership, conspiracy theories will just fly. Now, this administration has been an epic failure. We're seeing it play out. And those responsible for leaving Americans stranded in North Carolina, well, they're also responsible for stranding the rest of the country with a flood of illegal aliens and, of course, just horrific inflation. Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, Mayorkas, Yellen, Raimondo, all of them should never be allowed near positions of power again. Because after another 4 years of this, there'll be nothing left of the America we love. So we can't wait. We have to rescue ourselves on November 5th. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.